Ani Sri Saket Gokhale.
Thank you very much, Deputy Chairman, sir. I want to start by expressing my gratitude to my party, All India Trinamool Congress, and my leaders, Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee, for giving me a chance to speak on the union budget today. Sir, every time I've heard the previous speakers, right from the Prime Minister to all the other MPs from the Bharatiya Janata Party, I'm reminded of this movie scene from the 90s. एक पिक्चर था सर 90s में, उसमें एक एक्टर था, वो एक पैर एक बाइक पे रखता था, दूसरा पैर दूसरे बाइक पे, and he's going around. So the problem with the BJP is इनका एक पैर is in 1947 and the next leg, other leg is in 2047. Present में कुछ भी नहीं है सर. They will either talk about what happened 50 years ago, or they're going to make us promises about 2047, which, as a member before me rightly said, we might be here to see, might not be here to see. Sir, I spent my early teens, I'm 39 years old, I spent my teens and my early 20s. I was, under when Mr. Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, and then later when Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister. So the stark difference, and I'm saying this as a youth, the stark difference I see, sir, is that time policies matter, not personalities. Today, our discourse has become purely personality-oriented. The budget is personality-oriented, not policy-oriented, sir. That is the big problem. What happens, sir, is when the budget is guided by the vision of a person who should be in the Margadarshak Mandali, the youth are unable to relate to that budget, sir. This budget has absolutely nothing as far as the young people of our country are concerned, sir. So there is a concept in America, it used to be called the Great American Dream. That is how they say America came about to dominate the world over the last 2 centuries. So it meant that every person, no matter where they come from, their identity, their religion, everyone could dream and they could make it big in America. That was the premise of it. Sir, I congratulate the finance minister because this is the 9th consecutive budget. But sir, in each of these 9 budgets, including the current one, there is one question, sir, which sadly has not been answered over the last 9 budgets. That question, sir, is what is the great Indian dream? So this government has no vision for the great Indian dream. The problem is the government doesn't know the difference between dreams and delusions, sir. The government is suffering its own delusions, and then it tries to pass those delusions as a dream, which you might say, let's say, achieve in 2047. The problem, sir, is this government is also telling the young people of India that to dream is a crime. And I'll tell you how, sir. So the great Indian dream begins with education. That is what enables people to go ahead in life. So have you ever wondered why do an increasing number of Indians prefer to go abroad to study? I'm not saying this, sir. Look at countries around the world. We might be calling ourselves a Vishwa Guru, but every country in the world is tightening its regulations on visa. Student visa numbers are being cut down, be it in the US, be it in Canada, be it in Australia. Why are students so desperate to leave the country, sir? So that's because developed countries, they reward innovation and they reward critical thinking. They encourage students to think of great ideas. So they create ecosystems which enable students to explore their full potential and not just get a degree, but acquire the skills which will be valued in the job market, sir. So the problem is our Indian universities today lack the atmosphere of innovation and research. We are not enabling our youth to think of new ideas. So in this current budget, higher education has been allocated 55,000 crores. Great. So shockingly, only 0.7% of that is allocated for research and innovation. So today in developed countries, if you look at it, some of the most cutting-edge startups are run by Indians, by Indian origin people. A lot of them Indians who studied overseas and started their startups in those countries. So why did these Indians, young Indians, have to move abroad to study? And they shouldn't say this happened before 2015, no degree goes on for 11 years. There are people who've been moving, sir, in the last 11 years. So this is because our system does not give them the funds or the freedom to research and innovate, sir. So I'll give you a comparison. How much do other countries spend on, and developed countries, because we are going to go there in 2047, as the Prime Minister says. So how much do other countries spend on research and innovation, sir? So the United States spends 6.34% of their GDP. South Korea spends 4.96%. So today China's economy is 4 times bigger than India, and yet they spend 2.5% of that GDP on research and innovation. We shamefully, sir, in this budget are spending only 0.7%. Sir, I'll give an example because we are a federal system. So let us learn from our own states. Forget South Korea, forget the United States. Sir, under our Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal, sir, year on year, our R&D budget in this year, compared to last year, has grown by 17.6%, sir. Between last year to this year, my party's government in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee's government, has increased R&D allocation by 17.6%, sir. That is how you respect the youth. That is how you show the youth that there is something for you in the budget that the state is making. So the Great Indian Dream lies in our education system. The India Skills Report suggests that nearly 50% of Indian graduates are not employable. This is precisely, sir, why we see young Indians with engineering degrees and PhDs applying for the jobs today of peons and constables, sir. So unfortunately, the other thing, this government continues to be in denial about unemployment. Now there can be only one thing, sir. Either unemployment doesn't exist, as the government claims. If that is the case, then in budget after budget, you're announcing a new employment scheme. It fails, you forget it by the next budget. If there is no unemployment, then why are you coming up with unemployment schemes that are not working? If you're coming up with themes, that clearly means that there is unemployment. So this budget ignores the other crucial aspect also, which is underemployment, sir. We need to think not just about youth who don't have jobs, but also about young people who are paid much less than they deserve. So today the unemployment rate for youth in India is about 15%. Of the remaining young people with jobs, sir, 10% are underemployed. This budget ignores the burning problem, sir, that a quarter of India's youth population don't have part-time or full-time jobs. A quarter of the population. So what about the young people who have jobs? There's a report called The State of Work in India by Azim Premji University. 34% of Indian youth are paid less than what they deserve. So the government likes to tell us that the world's fourth largest economy, sorry. But what the government doesn't tell people, sir, in terms of per capita GDP, our economy ranks at 123rd. This is not nominal, this is by purchasing power parity. So this means in terms of purchasing power, an urban Indian youth is poorer than a young person even in war-ravaged countries like Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Ukraine and Libya. Our youth are poorer than the youth in these countries. So for the last 11 years, including in this budget, the government has never bothered to even consider the idea of quality of employment. We have heard numerous incidents over the last several years, sir, of young people dying at work due to stress, due to overworking, due to not having fixed hours. So the truth is most Indian employees today, if you go out and ask, are overworked, are underpaid and in constant fear of being laid off. Even the ones who have jobs, sir, are one day away from being laid off from their companies. So this budget shows that young urban Indians, sadly, are not a Ladla Bhai or a Ladla Ben for this government. They're just a source of taxes. Take the money and use that for funding your election campaigns by giving freebies. That's the problem, sir. So quality of life. A developed country, sir, doesn't necessarily mean the size of the economy. There are smaller economies than us who have a much better quality of life. So when young Indians travel abroad, they're shocked to see that they can drink water straight from the tap. On the other hand, in Indian cities, sir, people are forced to spend money on RO filters and Bisleri bottles just to drink clean water. The government doesn't provide clean water, sir. What they do, sir, is they will impose a GST on the mineral water and on your RO purifiers. So the top 10 polluted cities in the world are in India. What is our government? What does this budget do about it? Nothing. But they will impose an 18% GST on air purifiers if you decide to go and do something about the situation yourself. So today, quick commerce apps have started providing ambulance services. So that is the dismal state of our country. It is easier to get an ambulance on Blinkit than calling 108, and you know at least on the app the ambulance will come there. So in this budget, we are spending only 3% of our GDP on healthcare. Let's compare this to Viksit countries like UK, Germany, France and Japan, who spend 6 to 9%. We are spending 3%, 6 to 9% of their GDP, sir. So when young Indians pay sky-high taxes, this government does not even provide basic quality healthcare in return. When the government forces people to purchase private medical insurance, the least they can do is allow tax deduction for the premium that they paid. No, sir. Until Mamata Banerjee wrote a letter, and then a year and a half after that, they decided to scrap the GST on medical insurance payments, sir. So in the union budget, the government claims to be spending 3.10 lakh crores on building roads and highways. Even after spending this amount by the government, sir, people are expected to pay a toll when they drive on the road. So despite paying taxes and despite paying a toll, when you get onto these roads, sir, what is the quality of these roads? So every year, 1.7 lakh Indians die in road accidents. So which means after spending 3.10 lakh crores and charging an exorbitant toll, sir, 500 people, I repeat, sir, 500 people die on Indian roads every day. What are we paying these taxes for? Sir, according to the budget, the government failed to spend 40% of the money allocated for housing last year. 40% of the housing budget was not spent, sir. Where does this leave young people, sir? Today, if you go to any Indian city, sir, any big Indian city, rents are unaffordable for people. Then people have to take free public transport or roads where they can die just to be able to commute to work, sir. Pura din commute mein jata hai, office mein jata hai. People have no time for rest or leisure. So about 30% of an average urban Indian worker's salary goes just into paying rent in the bigger cities. So I'm proud of the fact, by the way, because I've lived in several, I'm from Bombay, so I live in Delhi now. I've lived around the world and I've lived in Kolkata, sir. You'd be surprised, this house would be surprised to know that for a big city with a growing economy, Kolkata still has the lowest rents in the country, sir. Why? Because the government does something about creating housing. The government does something about creating affordable housing. There's another lesson that the Honorable Finance Minister can learn from Mamata Banerjee. So the Modi government spent 1.64 lakh crores on developing 100 smart cities. That smart city project is now over, sir. Sir, hand on my heart, and I'm going to ask everyone, especially on the treasury benches, please, can you stand in front of a group of 200 people in the age of 18 to 40 and tell them that we have 100 great quality smart cities in India? Will they really be able to say that this is the smart city project that the government spent 1.64 lakh crores on? So therefore, in conclusion, sir, when the finance minister gives a reply, I want to ask her 3 questions, sir, and I hope she replies to it. So one, what does this budget do in order to provide quality jobs for young urban Indians and to ensure a healthy work environment? Question number 1. Question number 2, in terms of the delusional promise of Viksit Bharat, what does this budget do in order to provide essentials like drinking water, affordable housing, clean air, and good quality healthcare? And the third thing, sir, what does this budget have for young urban Indians to explore their potential? Sir, in conclusion, all I want to say is, for the last 12 years, young Indians have suffered PM Modi's dreams and delusions. Instead, young urban Indians are asking one question from the budget: what and where is the great Indian dream, sir? Thank you.